Hello, and welcome to another weekly reading. I have got lots of heart energy because this week is my daughter's birthday. Tomorrow she will be 12. She was born in the year of the snake, and she is such a combination of the two energies that we're really going to feel this week, which is the shift between Aquarius and Pisces season. So Aquarius being air, the energy we've been coming from, and shifting into water. There is water in this bowl, and Pisces. So in Ella's case, her chart is very air and water. And so I'm bringing in a lot of air and water because we'll be experiencing this week a lot of that feeling, going from much more intellect into emotion, head into heart. And we might come down with a bit of a crash, just in the sense that when you've been high up in the sky and suddenly you dive deep into the rivers, it's a lot of emotion to deal with. So this, for me, I see Pisces season is always triggering for that. If you're somebody with a lot of water, it's a comfortable space for you in the sense that you understand big emotions and deep emotions, but it might be even a little bit extra more. And then if you are somebody who's not very watery and you don't do terribly well with emotions, this might be the time of year, or one of the times of year, where you get very locked in and overwhelmed by your emotions because you cannot avoid your emotions in Pisces season. I think it's safe to say. So let's see what card you draw. Remember to pick a number between 1 and 4, and whatever you pick is your little extra personalized, slightly personalized theme, but this isn't a personal reading. I just want to make a note of that. It is a collective reading, and we're going to jump right in. So I actually love how these cards are showing up, and it makes me want to speak about a slightly different thing than I usually do to show you one of the ways you can work with your own cards. Suffice to say, this is actually right way up and this is upside down. This is a major arcana card, and then we have 2 court cards, and then we have a 6 of swords. So we don't have cups represented here, which is the element of water. However, the hanged man is exceptionally watery and links to the sign of Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, the energy we're moving into. And Hanged Man, as I say, is a major arcana card. It's very much about deep surrender and trust to the process, the flow. Like you are not in control here. And the harder you try to hold on to control in the kind of form that you think you should have it, the more life is going to show you that trust and surrender and faith and flow are the only way to go. And it's quite remarkable to me how the Page of Wands in these renditions of these cards, the Page of Wands is actually mirroring virtually, even though it's upside down, it's not at its best here, but mirroring the Hanged Man, and they're facing each other the way that it's showing up. And I want you to notice that. But then you can see that in the Hanged Man, that energy is like radiating out. Look at that. She is opening up, because it's the right way around. She is opening up her heart. She's literally stretching into her heart, opening up her throat. Her eyes are closed. She's in this peaceful, surrendered state. The Page of Wands is meant to be that way around, bursting forth with creativity into the future. Upside down, it is very much mirroring the Hanged Man feel, and it's looking back into the past. And in this case, because we're not feeling the comfort of it, the circling energy is spiraling for me, because this card can very much be about limiting beliefs and getting stuck in because the Page of Wands is very creative flow. This can be like, well, how come I've lost it? And I want you to think about how we're shifting from air, where there's so many ideas, sparking fire, because air and fire work well together, and Wands is a fire card. So the air was sparking the fire, the creativity, the drive to get things done. And as we shift into that very intense waves of water, Pisces is like the whole ocean. It's not a small body of water, it's the ocean. So when we switch into that, and you think about how water impacts fire, it can put fire out. So it's that wobble where we've been in this inspirational space, and now we start to have the doubts, and now we start to be dampened, and we're unsure what to do. So instead of this being a creative swirling spiral of energy there that you can see, it's kind of like, I'm spiraling. How did I think I could do that? What was I planning? And now this is where you might either want to leave something completely that you shouldn't, or you might decide that you you're just not good enough, and so you're not going to put impact into that, or you're going to try and force something to regain some kind of control, and that's also the wrong thing to do. So it's just to kind of, again, come back to the hangman, trust in the process, in the creative process, in building something new. There are highs and lows. There are moments where you feel like you're in flow, where your creative drive is, really just gelling and working for you. And then there's times where it falls a bit flat. And right now might be one of those times, but it's just a lull. It's an incubation. So don't panic. And then that brings us into the Six of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. And I love how the Six of Swords has this sort of traveling energy. She's going away from something that she needs to get away from. They're both upright. But in this card, there's a little bit of sadness at the leaving behind of whatever it is she's leaving behind. And you can see her posture is, she's not happy. It's a sad goodbye. It's a sad transition. It's maybe that thing that you fought for, that you really thought you could save, that it turned out you couldn't. That relationship, that friendship, that job. You thought if you worked harder at it, or if you just put your head down, you'd get through troubling times. But it turns out that those troubled waters were not going to change, and you needed to travel to another land. And that's what's happening here. She's en route to another land. She's got the bag she's carrying. She's feeling a little despondent. She's just disappointed that she couldn't make it work, disappointed that she didn't have control over the situation, because you can't control other people. And I want you to look at how that energy there is kind of flowing into this card, flowing in, and they're like flying almost into the card, as are they really. And then watch how this card energy comes up into the man. So these are the kind of things. Now, different decks are different, okay? But like I wanted you to see the postures here, and to think of how the element that we're moving from and moving to might impact the fire. Moving from air into water, how does that impact the fire? Hangman is water, saying surrender into the fire, which is saying you've got to just stop being so driven right now and go with the feelings almost, right? And then here you have this similar thing modeled, where you have this sad flow of energy as she accepts that she has to meet the shore, a new shore. And here it's almost the shore. She's about to wash up on the shore. And here we are on land. It literally flows into the Knight of Pentacles, which is an earth energy, which is much more stable and grounded and practical and reasonable. And his posture is very different from hers. Notice that. He's got his pentacle backpack on. I love that. And he's strolling with bare feet, so grounded, nice, relaxed, loose-fitting clothing, like loping. You can see his arms are in an easy flow as he walks. His horse isn't even being led. He's just happily following, also looking very relaxed and calm. And they're just steadily moving in the direction that this channel, the flow of this card is taking us into the future, right? It's channeling us forward. And so is the previous card, but the energy is quite different. Do you see how she has this like resolve, sad resolved? It's like a reluctant acceptance. Remember, that's the surrender card. And so it's like she has surrendered to the fact that she has to do this, but that doesn't mean she's thrilled about it. She's still in the process of grieving the loss of the old before she can almost get excited for the new. And then as we step into the Knight of Pentacles, it's this relaxed gait, the steady forward flow, this tackle one thing at a time. Obstacles will arrive, hurdles will present, and I will just keep moving forward in a grounded, practical, slow, and steady. Even, what comes to me, and this is the first time I've thought this as I look at this card. That's another thing I love about cards, is you can see something different every time. What draws your attention? And what just drew my attention for the very first time is how he almost looks like a tortoise with that pentacle backpack. It's almost like a shell. And the concept of slow and steady wins the race with the tortoise energy. And that is of all the knights, because knights tend to get on their horse and gallop into whatever's next for them, right? To save a princess or slay a dragon or whatever the case may be. And this guy has got this slow and steady tortoise action going, and he's very relaxed, and his horse is relaxed, and the day is nice, mild, sunny weather, gentle, fluffy clouds, beautiful green fields. And even the you can see the gradation, the striation in the in the land is just this: keep moving forward and all will be well. And it's okay to have a creative block from time to time, or a limiting belief process from time to time. It's just a recalibration and a reset, unless you let it consume you and overwhelm you, unless you try to force it away before it's ready, or you try to just get lost in it and never move forward again. That's where it becomes problematic. But if you can get in the boat and recognize that I wish that things had been different, but this is where we are, so I'm just going to take the next right step. And even if I'm sad, until I climb out and just start plodding forward steadily, 1 foot at a time. And it kind of all comes back to that first card of surrender, because when we first surrender to something bigger than us, it doesn't automatically suddenly feel okay, because in order to get to that place of surrender, usually we've hit a few walls or snags or hurdles, or something tough has happened, and it's almost just like we have to let it go. We're not in control. And then we have all these ripple effects, the challenge, the uncertainty. Did I make the right decision? Should I let go of the reins? Which brings me to here. Should I let go of the reins? So, it doesn't feel always like you're making the right decision. We never know exactly what's coming. But sometimes we have to go on the journey anyway. And it's really the journey that's important, not the destination. So I hope that has been helpful for you. A little bit of a different way of reading today. So you have to read between the lines, and well, we always do with these things. We always have to read between the lines and bring it into our own personal experience and see what resonated and what triggered and what hits for us on an individual, especially when you're listening to a group collective reading. Anyway, thank you for your likes, your shares, your follows, your subscribes, and thank you for your time. Much love and enjoy the week.